I'm one of those lucky people who have two different medium format systems. I've got a Hasselblad and I've got a Rollei. I've always wonder which one is better optically. This is sort of like Alien versus Predator. And I'm going to go head to head with the Hasselblad and my Rollei and just see which is better optically. Now, the first thing to realize when you go head to head is you're not really going head to head because the lenses are not the same lens. So my Rollei is the Rollei telephoto, the FT. That was the third and final version of the telephoto Rollei camera. Has a 135 f4 lens. So the 135 is great for portraits. I use it a lot for portraits. That's why I have it. And if you want to see some of my portraits, I've done a lot of like portraits of rodeo cowboys. You can actually see those if you go to the Ilford Photos site and just do a quick search for rodeo cowboys, and you'll be able to see the story that they did on me and a bunch of my work and why I use the Rollei. So I have the Rollei with the 135. Now, I don't have a Hasselblad with a 135. My Hasselblad is the 555 model, and I have a 180 lens that I would use for portraits. So it's not head-to-head. It's kind of head-to-head, but I'm going with the Rollei with the 135 f4 against the Hasselblad with a 180 f4. So it's as head-to-head as I could do. I'm only going to show 3 shots from each camera. So I shot at f4, 5.6, and f8. And it was a pretty interesting little discovery that I made. So let's talk first about the Rollei. Again, this is the Rollei FT. That was the third and final version of the telephoto Rollei. I bought it new actually from Hong Kong. I've had it for years, and I've used it, as I said, for a lot of portraits. So it's an f4 lens, and this very first shot is at f4. And you know, I expected more fall off. I expected it to kind of degrade a bit more on the edges. But you know what? At f4, I know it's a flat scene and, you know, it's not three-dimensional, but, you know, at f4, it's fantastic. I have no problems with it. Now, the film I used for this test was Ilford's Pan F. So the film is the same for both cameras, just to keep things consistent. And they were actually processed together in the same developer. Which I use Ilford ID11, and I rate my Pan F at 32, not at 50. But you know, this old shack over by my house, I go to the old shack a lot. I mean, one day it'll fall over and I won't be able to use it anymore, but it's fantastic for tests like this. Now, at f4, the Rollei is fantastic. There's not a lot of fall off on the edges, but there is a little bit. So then I did with the Rollei f5.6. Now, what I found interesting was there was a bit of lightening on the corners at 5.6, which I didn't really get with the f4 lens, when the lens was at f4. So a little bit of a lightening on those corners. And so then this picture, so this is at 5.6, but I've taken a second to just burn down the edges a little bit. And you know what? Again, this is fine. This is no reason to think that you need to do better than this. I mean, I'm quite surprised exactly how good this is at f5.6. It was good wide open. It's good at 5.6. Now, this final picture is at f8. So again, I had to burn it down a little bit, but this has got lots of detail at f8. So these 3 shots, as you kind of look at them, these are the Rollei. So the Rollei FT has a 135mm lens, as I've mentioned too many times, and I've done it at f4, 5.6, f8. You know what? I hardly see any reason at all to stop down. I mean, you would get greater depth of field, but I don't seem to be picking up any sharpness. These next shots are with the Hasselblad with the 180mm lens. So again, on a tripod, f4, 5.6, f8, and I pre-fired the mirror. The 553 has the built-in motor drive on the bottom. Doesn't come off, and you are able to pre-fire the mirror, just take any vibrations out from that. And again, this is with the Hasselblad CFI 180mm lens. So basically the final version of the 180 from Hasselblad, Sony design. So the first shot, again, f4. Now I did notice with both cameras that at f4 I'm using, I think it was a 500th of a second. They both underexposed a little bit compared to the rest of the contact sheet. So my speed must be off a little bit fast, and it was on both cameras the same. But anyways, this is on the Hasselblad at f4, and again, I don't really see in the corners any great fall off, any great sharpness loss. At the Hasselblad, wide open, again, it seems to have a lot of detail, more than I thought it would, and just a great resolution. Now this second shot again with the Hasselblad, this is at 5.6, no optical fall off that I can see. Probably, I guess, would have greater depth of field, but not really an issue because I'm taking pictures of a flat item. So 5.6 doesn't seem to have any real advantage to being at 5.6 over f4. And this final one is with the Hasselblad at f8, and again, doesn't really seem to gain anything. I mean, it was sharp right off the bat, and it's sharp at f8. So kind of a weird test. I have to be honest, I expected to see way greater differences between the lens as I stopped down. And I was expecting to see a way greater lens, way greater differences between the Rollei and the Hasselblad. If you think of f8, and that's the sweet spot on both these lenses. Now, I didn't move the camera closer, so with the Hasselblad, it's a longer lens, so I'm in a little tighter. But at f8, both are fantastic, and head-to-head, I don't really see it. I don't really see any advantage of one over the other. I'm surprised that the Rollei actually is as good as the Hasselblad, but there's just nothing. There's just nothing that you would look at and say, well, the Hasselblad is better here and the Rollei is better here or whatever. At f8, both are fantastic. So you know what that does? That frees you to just not worry about it, and there's nothing wrong with that. So a bit of a weird test, Hasselblad against the Rollei. And honestly, except that the Hasselblad is in tighter because it's a longer lens, I can't see any advantage one over the other. And I really don't see any advantage f4 or f8. They both look fine to me. I'd be happy to print up any of them. Again, this is probably the best shot of the day, only because I like how it burned in a little bit better. So, is it Predator versus Alien, or Alien versus Predator? I'm not sure, but I've always wanted to test them head to head. Now I've done it, and you know what? I didn't really notice a lot of difference.